Hello everyone, back this time at Birmingham Hammerfest in the D1 Pro Race. Before we get started, I just want to apologize for the shaky video. I don't know what was going on my camera. And then also, it gets kind of dark later in the race. The course was very dark while we were racing. It's not just the video. And I tried to lighten it up afterwards, and it lost a lot of resolution. But anyway, here we go. So this was a D1 USACRITS race in Birmingham, Alabama. And it was USACRITS teams only, which kept the field size a lot smaller. I think there was only like 70 people in the race. And then the other notable thing that happened was Legion did not send their A squad, which definitely made for like the most dynamic and exciting racing of the season so far. And actually, finally, someone besides Legion ended up winning this race, which was pretty exciting. But as for the course, it was just a rectangle crit, so we're coming into corner one here. If you were late on the brakes, I found I could get a lot of spots out of it. And then we came through this little section with some restaurants. It was kind of cool. And then this is corner two onto the back stretch. This was like the quieter side of the course. There's also the very dark side of the course later in the race. We'll see. This was also like the widest spot, so if you wanted to throw down some watts, you could definitely move up here. Then we're coming into corner three. All of these corners were pretty wide open, like you could definitely pedal through all of them. And then this is the final corner back onto the home stretch and back into the light. There's a tiny little rise up to the finish that it's hard to tell here, but definitely like a slight rise and then downhill into this first corner again. The weather was about as perfect as it could have been. It had like thunderstormed a little bit earlier and then stopped for basically the entirety of our race, and then the skies opened up like right when we finished, and they were starting to do awards. So good thing we didn't win the race, because we would have had to stick around in the rain. But the race started at 7:30, so you can see it's already pretty dark. We'll skip ahead to the stuff later in the race where it's like dark. But I just wanted to show you guys the course while you could actually see it in the footage. Overall, I'd say is a pretty good course. I don't mind these like rectangle crits. This one especially, it had some room to move up on the backside. Pavement was good, so it kept everything interesting. That being said, there were still a couple of crashes that happened later in the race. So now we're gonna skip ahead to just before the first crash, so that was right behind. So you can see this is only like 20 minutes later in the race, significantly darker now. Coming under the start finish here, it's pretty well lit on this side. You can see a lot. This is like the best lit side of the course. Hopefully for that race, the race is in Athens and Spartanburg next week, I can figure out the camera settings for at night so that it's a little better. And also get rid of this nonsense shake. Out of corner two, they had like some big floodlights on the outside that there's a couple laps where if you just like had your head down, you might end up like going right at them. But then this is like the worst part. In corner three, it was very dark, and you can see this is where the first little incident happens. One of my teammates up in front of me, like, saw him riding around the corner with his front wheel in the air, but he ended up saving it. But a bunch of us got slowed down, so we all went to the pits and rejoined. And this is, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes later after we've rejoined. The free lap definitely like threw off my rhythm. I had to work pretty hard getting in. I've got the footage of us getting put in the next time, but it was definitely like a little bit late every time, which makes it even harder to get back in. But this crash was, I wasn't like right behind it, but came up to this corner, and there's just like bodies everywhere. Like, A lot of people hit the ground here, and people were not very happy about that. It kind of seemed like it was just really dark over there, and people were having a hard time seeing like the wheel in front of them as they were coming through that corner. But luckily the rest of the race there weren't any more incidents. Oh yeah, this is when we got put back in. You can see the group they're putting us in with, which is no one, actually. So that was like a little bit frustrating. There was like a breakaway up the road, and then I think there's probably only like 45 people left in the whole race at this point, so there maybe wasn't an obvious peloton to the officials, but once, we got dropped off in groups of 2 or 3, and we got to watch the rest of the race, it was pretty apparent where the peloton was. I think they even delayed one of the mid-race preems because they couldn't tell where the front of the race was anymore. So it was just kind of a mess with getting everybody back into the race after that crash. It was kind of frustrating that that was pretty much what ended my night. You could see where already like groups of 3 or 4 can see this next one on the road in front of us. And basically just riding out these last few laps until we get pulled. So hopefully this next weekend in Spartansburg and Athens for those USACRITS events goes a little better. Felt really strong in this one, so I'm looking forward to getting back out there for those 2 events and seeing what I can do. And hopefully I'll have some better quality video for you guys next time. Thanks for watching.